18 years. That's how long I'd known Melissa. We met when we were teenagers, survived bad jobs, heartbreaks, weddings, and funerals together. She wasn't just my best friend. She was family. At 33, I thought I knew exactly who I could trust in this world. Melissa was at the top of that list. So when my marriage started falling apart, she was the person I called. Night after night, I'd sit in my kitchen crying while she listened. She told me I deserved better. She told me she would always have my back. I believed every word. Then one Friday evening, everything changed. I had gone to a restaurant across town to meet a client. As I walked through the lobby, I saw someone familiar sitting in a corner booth. It was my husband. At first, I thought it was a coincidence. Then I saw the woman sitting across from him. Melissa! My heart stopped. They weren't having dinner as friends. The way he touched her hand told me everything. The way she smiled back confirmed it. 18 years of friendship shattered in a single moment. Neither of them noticed me standing there, but I noticed everything. And what I discovered next would hurt even more. For 3 days, I said nothing. I needed proof. Part of me still hoped there was some explanation. Maybe I had misunderstood what I'd seen, but deep down, I already knew the truth. I started paying attention. Late-night phone calls my husband suddenly took outside. Messages he hid whenever I entered the room. And Melissa? She kept calling me, pretending everything was normal. "How are you holding up?" she asked one afternoon. I nearly laughed. The woman helping destroy my marriage was asking how I was doing. A week later, the final piece fell into place. A mutual friend called me by accident. She assumed I already knew. Melissa told everyone she's finally with the man she's loved for years. Years! That word hit me harder than anything else. This hadn't been a mistake. This wasn't some sudden affair. They had been betraying me while smiling in my face. That night, I confronted my husband. They didn't even deny it. Instead, he said something I'll never forget. "I didn't mean for you to find out this way." Not an apology, not regret, just inconvenience. The next day, Melissa came to my house. She stood on my porch and said, "You can't control who people fall in love with." I stared at her in disbelief. After 18 years of friendship, that was all she had to say. When she left, I cried harder than I ever had before, but those tears didn't last long, because something inside me was changing. For months, I rebuilt my life. It wasn't easy. Some mornings, I couldn't even get out of bed. Other days, anger was the only thing keeping me moving. But eventually, that anger became motivation. I focused on myself. I accepted a promotion at work that I'd been too scared to pursue before. I started exercising. I traveled. I made new friends. Little by little, the woman they had broken began to disappear, and someone stronger took her place. Meanwhile, Melissa and my ex-husband were showing off their relationship everywhere. Social media posts, vacation photos, matching smiles. They wanted the world to believe they had found happiness. I let them because I had learned something important. Real revenge doesn't come from screaming. It comes from succeeding. A year later, my career was thriving. I bought my own home. I was financially secure for the first time in my life. And then the cracks started appearing in their perfect relationship. Friends began telling me stories. Constant arguments, jealousy, trust issues. Apparently, two people who built a relationship through betrayal were struggling to trust each other. What a surprise! Then one evening, I received a message from Melissa, the first message in nearly a year. "Can we talk?" I stared at my phone. 1,000 emotions rushed through me. Curiosity, anger, satisfaction. I almost ignored her. Instead, I replied with 2 words. "Why now?" Her answer arrived a few minutes later, and when I read it, I finally understood. The life she had chosen wasn't turning out the way she expected. Not even close. Melissa asked to meet for coffee. Against my better judgment, I agreed. When I arrived, I barely recognized her. The confident woman who had stolen my husband was gone. She looked exhausted. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she finally said it. I made a mistake. I waited. For years, I had imagined hearing those words. Surprisingly, they didn't feel as satisfying as I expected. She told me everything. My ex-husband had cheated on her. Multiple times. He lied constantly. He blamed everyone else for his problems. The same behavior I had endured for years was now aimed at her. I thought we would be happy, she whispered. I looked at her quietly. Then I asked the question that mattered. What did you expect? Tears filled her eyes. For the first time, she truly understood. She hadn't won anything. She had simply taken over my place in a miserable situation. Then came the sentence she probably thought would fix everything. I'm sorry. 18 years. A friendship that had been part of my entire adult life. Countless memories. Countless acts of trust. And all she had left was an apology. I nodded politely. But forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. I had already moved on. The woman sitting across from me no longer had power over my life. When the conversation ended, she asked one final question. Do you think we could ever be friends again? I smiled sadly. No, not out of cruelty, not out of revenge, simply because some betrayals permanently change the shape of a relationship. I walked out of that coffee shop feeling lighter than I had in years. Melissa got exactly what she chose, and I got something far more valuable. Peace. The greatest revenge wasn't making her suffer. It was building a life so full, so successful, and so happy that her betrayal no longer defined me. She regretted what she did, but by then I no longer needed her regret. I had already won.